But yeah, like I think for this particular matchup, just make sure you're getting on the same page, right? Your expected favorites, play stuff you're familiar with. I think they should be coming into this with more than enough confidence.
What I've always found really impressive with T1 is their ability, because things haven't always been smooth sailing. They'll go away and go, okay, this wasn't working, this was wrong, our draft approach wasn't really correct, and they'll adjust. We've often seen that favor them at Worlds, and they often ramp up over the course of the tournament. So, you know, even though they had a great run at play-ins, they lost against BLG, and the expectation is they will learn from that, take away from it, and next time they face them, they'll have leveled up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we all kind of expect that of them because this is the lower bracket, but it almost feels like for them it's just business as usual because they're gonna come back. They haven't really played a Brazilian team that often, only one other time, and so it is really also about pride for the Brazilian side, and I don't want to devaluate to that because I want to give them a fighting chance. We're gonna have to see a lot from them.
We absolutely are. And look, for T1, the perfect situation is you've refined your bread and butters, you don't have to show anything new, and no matter what you draft, it's all gonna be smooth sailing. But as we've seen across the entirety of this tournament, you cannot underestimate a team, no matter what their region says, no matter what their nameplates say. You can drop games to anybody here. It's been a very close bracket stage, even in some of these 3-0s. And so I think, yeah, pride on the line for the side of Furia because you might be able to do it.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see how the jungle matchup goes because this year so far we've seen Ona struggle a little bit, especially when his lanes have been in a weak spot. But Tatu has been the engine for this team. Even in that loss that they had, he was trying to make plays happen and get them into a favorable position.
All eyes on the jungle and some on the cast because for the first time at MSI 2026, we've got Jat. He's with Medic.
Woo, Jat!
Yeah, woo, Jat!
Hey, thanks for the
great to
welcome,
be here.
Shocks. I am so excited to be out of my hotel room.
Yes.
I got off the plane and I died faster than K-Corp did. Like, it was insane. Instantly out of the tournament. But luckily for me, it is also double elimination. So I have recovered the one time. Hopefully I don't get sick again.
Casey unfortunately didn't have that ability to recover. Yes. Welcome everyone to Mind the Gap with Medic and Jat. We are here for the 50th episode of the podcast. I don't know what number you're on right
28.
now. It's great to be here for T1 versus Furia, and it's likely to be a banger of a series because although I think a lot of people will count Furia out going into this best of 5, there's still a lot we haven't seen from this team in my estimation.
There really is. The expectations for this team were the highest expectations have been for a Brazilian team since I don't even know how long. The Brazilian fans would be better at telling me that, but it's as long as I can remember. And then with how they then got swept by Lion, there was a lot of immediate community blowback. And then as their lower bracket opponent, they face the back-to-back-to-back defending world champion who has already 3-0'd Team Liquid twice, 3-0'd KC once, went to 5 games against BLG. It's kind of hard to be in this situation, so we'll see how they respond.
It is hard, but this is what MSI is all about. At Worlds, I think sometimes you get a slightly easier route through. You know, you're playing those best of 3s. It's not quite as challenging. MSI is the do-or-die tournament. It is the, you either show up or you shut up and you go home. And for Furia, today is the day to show up. T1 are not infallible. And Furia did manage to gain some leads versus Lion in the early games, in the first couple of games of that series. It was just their mid-game that really let them down. And that is a worry when you play up against T1.
Absolutely, and I do believe a lot of what Furia said for the reasons that their mid-game seemed so strange against Lion. A lot of it was just getting a little bit too excited, pressuring themselves a little bit too much because the expectations were so high. So in a weird way, I'm going to see how good their mental game is because on one hand, when you walk out on stage against T1 in Korea, the aura is incredible and a lot of teams just wilt your way. But on the other hand, you're such remarkable underdogs. Sometimes you can use that to take the pressure off of yourself.
Yeah, Furia obviously undercats rather than underdogs with the Panther as their logo, but I agree with the sentiment there, Jat, as Oriana is picked first here for T1. They get rid of Vi, Poppy, and Akali, and Furia removed Bard, Nocturne, and Ziggs. Some targeted bans towards the T1 players there, as Casio is the lock in response for the CBLOL representatives.
And then immediately Lee Sin locked in as well for Tatu. It's his second. He only played Lee Sin twice in the entire spring split, but it's also just an incredibly powerful meta pick. And the Casio, even though we did see them flex it to the bot lane, I think it's a good matchup into the Oriana, so I'm pretty sure it's going to stay mid.
I agree with you, and I think getting the Lee early, getting Tatu something he has agency on is so important for this team. They talked about it on the desk. He is the engine. He's the wheelhouse. He is the conductor. Whatever other superlatives you want to use to describe him. He is the guy that makes this team tick, and he needs to be the player in the early game that really stops T1 from exploding out of the gates. T1, alongside the Orianna, are going to lock in a Jace and a Camille.
Man, this Camille support for, I'd say, the top teams of the tournament just seems like such a powerful card in draft. Like, we were talking a little bit about this earlier today in terms of mage bot lanes, which I think Furia should definitely ban Mel, and then we'll see what FaZe ends up trying to pair with this Camille. I don't know, it just feels like such a weapon for them because it's so hard for supports to just pick up Camille, but it's so lethal in the hands of a player like Keria.
And Keria has shown us over the years that he is very good at picking up a new style of support very quickly. Like think about the Ashe, even played Kalista support for a while, right? MF support is something that he was known for, and now obviously moving into playing things like the Shen, like the Camille, that can have that more impact around the map. You say they should get rid of some of those mages in the bot side. Furia have already removed the Ziggs, but they'll put the Neferi on the bench alongside that. T1 likely looking at making sure that this Jace in the top side has a couple of easier matchups. Depends on how scared they are of Guigo, because like Guigo as well, although he used to play a little bit more aggressively, has been more of a tank player for this Furia lineup recently.
Definitely, and it's pretty interesting to me if they end up letting Mel through.
Agreed.
But that would also mean that they have something prepared, which would then make me kind of confident that they're playing into it, because at least they would have thought it. It's such an obvious angle for one of their bans.
I mean, I think Tristana is the obvious pick that we've already seen being used earlier today by Berserker. I love the idea of, okay, you can play from range, but we're going to close that gap immediately. The Rel is there for the follow-up or even the initial engage as well, and Rebuttal isn't doing a huge amount of work for Mel in that matchup. If you're on top of Mel, she is incredibly squishy and very easy to kill. The problem is when she can stand at range and stop your initiation.
I mean, Pace has just looked so absolutely unstoppable on it.
It's true.
But instead they throw 2 bans towards Owner's champion pool. So another thing that I think, one of the reasons that these teams have been playing mage bot lanes so early in Fearless is I think the things you want to put with it are rather specific. Since you're going, generally speaking, double AP for your mid-bot carries, you need a lot of AD damage from your other positions. That's why it's almost always played with Jace in an ideal situation. They already have the Jace. The other thing they need is a high damage AD jungler, which maybe they think they're denying a bit with the Wukong and the Neferi bans, but to me, they like Xin is still open. So, I don't know. They're clearly letting it through, and Tristana is probably the pick that they're going to play into Mel, if I had to guess.
Yeah,
and that's even if FaZe goes for it, now that it's almost too obvious that they would pick it, that they might go a different direction.
I mean, Syndra kind of does what Tristana wants to do in the bot lane, but also has the Scatter the Weak, which can interrupt the rocket jump forward from the Trist. And so I wouldn't be surprised, as you say, if T1 just flex a little bit, say, okay, we still want a mage bot, but Syndra fulfills that role very well. We will see it locked in. That will be going down to FaZe in the bot lane most likely. And alongside that, a Trundle. So another physical damage, not the highest output, but can still do quite a lot of work, and especially into the Scion.
But specifically, it's because of the Scion. The Scion would actually be a very big problem in this game, because generally mage bot lanes have low sustained damage, but now they have the Subjugate to remove a significant portion of Scion's tankiness. So I do like what T1 has done here. And I mean, I don't really think that they might just flex the Cassio bot. Yeah, they're flexing the Cassio bot once again, which is just, I get it. They like the Cassio bot. They have a little bit of 8A damage. Guigo's probably going to go with Death's Dance Scion once again. I think they're trying to play some mind games here for sure against T1. I don't really think that Ryze is a good matchup into the Orianna. It can play well in side lanes if it gets ahead, but Faker should be able to get push in that lane early. But at least Furia is very confident with their draft strategy once again. They've had a good showing on the Cassio bot lane in Game 2 against Lion, and they've clearly come in with a plan.
I think IU actually ended up I look at and say, oh, they've actually really got a winning bot, or oh, they've really got a winning mid. And when you're giving Faker his Orianna, you're always going to be a little bit concerned. It is the first time we've seen FaZe on the Syndra ever, as far as I can tell.
Wow.
But obviously you expect him as a bot lane mage player to be able to pilot the Syndra pretty well.
Yeah, with the way that he's been able to play Ziggs and Mel, I would imagine he'd be very proficient on the Syndra. It is going to be the most vulnerable
Never mind.
of the
Never
three
mind.
mages.
Oh no, I'm looking at fake now. Oh, sorry, Chad.
it's fine.
Touched you in the face.
It's going to be the most vulnerable of the three mages, but I have confidence he'll be able to do it just
Yeah.
because of his mage skill that's already been displayed.
I totally agree with you. For Furia, you want to get out of the gates swinging here. Otherwise, the teeth of that Pantheon will very quickly be taken out of your attack. Have a look at where the junglers are starting. Looks like it's going to be top side for both. Vision placed down. Tatu able to clear it out with that passive from the Lee Sin. And Furia will just have that ward around their Razor Beaks to make sure a delayed invade can't come down from Ona.
Yeah, definitely not. We'll see if Tatu can get anything going early game here, because as we mentioned before, Furia very dependent on their mid jungle to see if they can get things rolling. This is very much the style of team composition that they would have played throughout their split in the CBLOL to qualify here for MSI.
Jojo trading Aftershock there with Carrier, who is running the Halo Blades on the Camille for that extra damage. The adaptive defenses on the Camille, very strong when you are trading in like this. But having a mage bot does, even out that damage a little bit. So sometimes you get a physical damage shield, and actually you wanted a magic damage shield. But I don't expect to see Carrier and Jojo actually spending a huge amount of time down towards this bottom lane in the early game. It looks like Tatu's going to do a 3-camp reset, get himself a longsword as Carrier goes in, hits 2 in the air.
Yep.
And pays. I mean, he took a Noxious Blast, and because of that can't go any further forward. Jojo is going to get 2 off a minion dying just out of range of the camera. And in the end, it was a good engage from Carrier, but doesn't gain them too much.
Dude, it's crazy. This is like such a classic mage matchup that you would see mid lane,
Yeah.
a Syndra versus Cassio, and they're just in the bottom lane now. And with these Camille lanes, they kind of lane until level 2 or 3,
Yeah.
and then they're just gone.
They really
So I think what we just saw in the bot lane, until a jungler goes bot, will be the last actual true laning that we see.
I see also a chasm of experience
God.
differential between these players. Faker with 333 international games to Tuts only having 13. It's to be expected. T1 so often have been a dominant force, and for Furia, MSI last year was their first international as a organization. But we'll see if they can do better than a 0-6 here, which I think is where everyone expects them to sit after their loss to Lion.
Dude, 333 international games is such an unfathomably large number.
Yeah. He could play one every day for a year, taking a month's worth of holiday.
Big
As
fight.
we see a massive engage down towards the bottom side. Jojo having to flash away the pillar, not catching out on the wrong side. But with a flash chomp, Ona will get it. Takes a tower shot though as Tatu looks for the trade. Will get a 1-for-1. Carrier trying to retreat. A Noxious Blast catches him out as Are You low on mana, can't land the Twin Fangs. But Tatu follows up for the double.
Huge play there for Furia, and a very aggressive invade there by T1. So the thing with Syndra, if you're comparing it to Cassiopeia, the cooldowns are just very long. So once they got that first kill, they had nothing left, and Tatu could just continue to chase and pick up extra kills.
Great Sonic Wave from Tatu to find that connection, be in the right place at the right time. Now has the lead, and we talked about how he needed to be the catalyst for this team. Him off to a 200 gold lead, almost 300 gold lead, is going to be massive for Furia. Jojo and Carrier now out on the map, looking to see if mid lane perhaps is their next point of contest between these two teams. I expect to see resets from Tatu. He's going to go back and get himself a pickaxe and another longsword to just the Phage coming out from Ona.
Yeah, so Owner will be set back a little bit, and here comes Carrier just swooping into the bot lane.
Ayu has to flash, but Carrier, Precision Protocol into a Dark Sphere is enough. I think Ayu just assumed he was safe with the flash, double flash from the T1 bot lane to secure that kill.
Really slim margins there as he was just getting that wave shoved in before retreating. Had his teleport up as well. We're going to see this original play one more time. And Jojo being level 2, Carrie is very confident taking this, and then they chain it. But now, Paze is completely out of spells.
Yeah.
So Owner flashes in, takes damage from Turret, essentially sacrificing his own life. And we're going to come out to another fight.
Jordan getting hit here by Tatu, and the flash in from Guigo enough to get Tatu on a killing spree on this Lee Sin. 3-0 now, being top, being bot, being everywhere on the map. 5-1 all time on this pick.
Just insane start for Tatu, but I think more crucially, getting Doran dead while he has no TP is going to set up Guigo for a lot of success on the Scion. If this lane stays even and Jace isn't able to stack up those incremental advantages, then the Scion can become rather unstoppable.
Jojo going in for the Shadowing Strike. Aftershock is going to time out on him. Carrier deciding the hookshot wall dive did not need to hit. Oh, it didn't. If he did go for it, he'd be a little bit too deep into the fight. Well, really, all eyes on Tatu for this early game for Furia. Even between the two teams in terms of gold, laning leads have been built for Pays predominantly on the T1 side, about 300 gold ahead because of that kill and because of that extra wave that he's managed to pick up. Tuts now, though, with the Realm Warp, can start to move around the map. The risk of Pays and Carrier using those double flashes bot means they are a little bit more susceptible to a long-range gank from the Rise. Ona coming around the side here. Tuts might have to burn a flash of his own as Shockwave is going to pull him back. A good pillar. Tuts tries to flash the wall, manages to escape, and even with Carrier coming in, the tactical sweep does not clear up Tuts.
Little plays like that seem somewhat inconsequential in the moment, but the fact that he was able to stay alive, very important in terms of not falling behind the pace of the game too much against this Orianna. Faker already accumulating small advantages in that lane. If Toots would have died there and the kill would have gone over to Faker, it might have put the lane out of reach, but flashless Cassio under the turret. Carrier's going to look to be annoying at the very least.
Yeah, just keep him around if you can. Jojo has just recalled, opened up through mid as well, though, so it's going to be about 10 seconds before he can come here. Tatu, about 5 seconds ahead of his support, has started up the Drake. Carrier spotted out with a Noxious Blast. Twin Fangs starting to put their venom into the back of that Camille support, who jumps away. The miasma grounding, not quite there in time, but he's got no flash and no place to go, nowhere to call home, as Carrier feels the sting of the Twin Fangs.
This is another one of those games for T1, I feel like. Yeah. Every time, I'm going to generalize a little bit here, Vedius. Medius.
Wow, I know we both miss him, man, but come on.
Yeah. He's not even going to watch this series. Like, he's just, I hate him. So, Owner going for dive up top.
Subjugate here is going to do a huge amount of work. Guigo tries with the Decimating Smash, but gets knocked out of it. Great play by T1, perfectly executed dive.
With the Dragon going over, it was pretty easy for Owner to set up that play. You'd like to see, likely, Guigo to just give the turret away there. Tatu getting pushed off Raptors by Carry as well. That's the thing, you're trying to cross-map against T1, but they're so knowledgeable about all the possible plays you can make that Carry is just always going to be there to at least make it difficult for you.
And timing-wise, it's really bad for Tatu because his Krugs were up and his red buff were up, which is why Jojo is now trying to come across to make sure that Owner can't take all of that topside jungle. Tatu was hoping he could sneak in and steal a couple of camps because you know Owner, after getting the kill in top, is going to be doing the same. Thankfully, Jojo able to save that red buff for his jungler, but lane leads now being garnered for T1 across the map.
But I think the point I was making before is Jojo's actually looking to maybe contest this as a level 4 rel because Tatu is on a cliff. So Tatu would love to fight.
Tatu goes in. Jojo here as well. TP from Guigo as well as Carrier looks great. The Shockwave's going to land on 2 though, and you just can't give Faker this Orianna. The Shockwave pulls them back and Pays secures the second. Guigo now in for a world of hurt. He's in the belly of the beast and he can't find a way out. A double for Pays as T1 assert their dominance on the Rift.
Man, that is rough for Tatu. He had his power spike, so he really wanted to go in for a fight there, but they were just outnumbered at the time. Guigo wasn't even there with a Scion yet. Everyone on T1 was sitting and waiting to burst out the Lee Sin. And before I could even make the point that the game is close against T1 until it's not, the game is no longer close. Look at the way they lock up both Jojo and Tatu with the Shockwave, and just like that, T1 have 5 people there before the fight starts.
It's a numbers fight. Right? You have 3, they have 5 immediately, and then Guigo comes in late. The Rise isn't able to join either, effectively, as Guigo is looking for Doran up towards this top lane. Doran trying to trade back. He has got Owner waiting in the wings, and there's the Subjugate. Guigo, he has to flash over the pillar in the end. Every time Furia seem to find an inch, T1 take a mile.
T1's kind of off to the races right now. I see Pays down bot lane with 3 kills on the Syndra. Talk about the mage bot infestation. We've crossed out a lot of them by this point. You can tell a lot of these casters were around in 2018 when these were common mage bots. You can even add Orianna there. You never know.
We could add Garen in there.
That was an old
He
perk
was my
special.
favorite bot lane mage.
Oh my God.
The
That was-
Garen Yumi days.
That was 2019.
That's
no?
true. Yeah, I mean,
It was
sure.
post-mage bot infestation. There was the bruiser. It was the Yumi infestation.
It's true. We also haven't seen Swain bot yet, which is
Not yet.
we did see that a little bit. I think that was 2019 as well.
Zoe bot?
Zoe bot would be interesting.
We're just getting started, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think part of the thing with the mage bot is you need someone that after level 3 is just safe, right? You don't need to get them through any further portion of the game, as we see a bit of an invade down towards this bottom tribush, but T1 able to safely protect Pays and Keria.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that makes the mage bot so fitting for competitive right now. Well, there's a couple of things. It's the fact that they can be self-sufficient because of their insane wave clear. It's the fact that they do then have kill threat when they come bot because of the burst-reliant kits. Yep. But then also, like, the 2-item power spike just comes so fast with the proto belt and the increased income from the role quest that even if you're going even, you're going to have windows where you're stronger than the other lane.
Yeah. You also scale incredibly well. 7 items is a lot of items to be able to pick up in a game of League of Legends.
Even for a mage.
Yeah,
apparently.
even for a
Gold
mage.
is good.
Yeah, gold is always good. Used to be, when you talked about mages, it was all, oh, they scale off levels most effectively, but obviously an extra item in your inventory is never anything to be sniffed at, as T1 have garnered about a 2.6k gold lead, which means they are starting to pick up some of those extra items in their inventory. Doran actually going for the Serpent's Fang first here on the Jace. Not something we too commonly see, but it does make sense.
Yep.
Into the Sion, into the Lee, into the Rise, all of them going to have those shields as Keria dashes away from Tatu, who once again can't find purchase on that Camille. Hayes has to flash away from the Noxious Blast. Tatu goes in with the Dragon's Edge kick, knocks Keria back, who flashes the wall. Tatu's trying to flash the chase. Ona there to try and protect his support, but he can't do it. And now Ona's on the wrong side of the wall, and those fangs are sinking in. Ryu takes it 2-0 in favor of Furia.
Furia's got hands, but you can see they know how dire the game state actually is, even after picking those 2 kills up. The very passionate Furia still a little bit subdued. So nice play there. Outplayed them for sure, but if you look at the map state, it's still very much in T1's favor.
Yeah, still 1,000 gold lead for Doran on the top side, which is not where you want to be if you're Furia. That Jace poke is going to do a lot of work later on. It's something we haven't talked too significantly about as of yet, is the amount of poke actually that T1 have. With the Syndra, with the Jace, you can, from quite long range, do a lot of damage around these objectives.
Yeah, watching this one more time, you can just see Keria gets caught a little bit in the river. Tatu gets behind him, kicks him back straight into the Rel stun and the Rise Realm Warp, so not many places for Keria to run, and then very timely war jump from Tatu, which prevents Owner from getting the extra health from the kill.
And Tatu 4-1 now on this Lee Sin as Doran trying to flash in front.
Hey!
But it's called Unstoppable Onslaught for a reason, my dude. Can't get in front of that one in time. And Tatu will start up the Drake knowing the enemy jungler is on the top side. Tatu, such a decorated player from the CBLOL. Twice champion, twice finals MVP. Has won the Rookie of the Year as well.
Yeah. I mean, he is really the hope of this region for now and for the foreseeable future, because he's already this good and he's still 20 years old. That Rookie of the Year was last year in the LTA South before they renamed back to the CBLOL. And even in situations like this where the team isn't doing amazingly, he's probably not even that happy about this game because he died on that big Eclipse power spike, but he's having a great game against one of the best teams in the world. So really impressive.
I think that's the thing with Furia. Like, you do see these really impressive moments. Hands-wise, they are up there. Not quite at the level of the best, but they can definitely hold their own. It's just the mid-game macro that can often struggle. And when you're against a team of the caliber of T1, as another Dragon's Edge comes in, but a great buffer from Keria with that hookshot wall dive. When you're against the caliber of T1, like, you do just start to see this slow drain of resources. Like, Faker is 1,000 gold up with 3 assists, but he's got 30 more farm. Top lane is 1,300 gold ahead because he's got 24 more CS and a couple of kills and the plates. And it just becomes so hard for you to find ways back into the game. Your chances move from 50% to 40 to 30 to 10 to 5, and you're looking for desperation plays rather than something that you can premeditate.
For sure, and everything has to be defensive right now. So T1's completely pushed them out of their own jungle, and they're kind of corralled under this turret. T1's threatening a dive. If they get a stun or have the right angle, they would go for it.
Yeah, Shockwave was used on Tuts there. Takes him down to about half HP, but doesn't find as much of an advantage as T1 wanted. Furia will all back away. None of them with effective health bars, as Doran is able to take that top lane tier 1. First tower of the game going over to T1. For Furia, at least they've got 2 dragons, but it feels like we've transitioned from the point of the game where T1 play for gold into the point of the game where they're willing to take a fight at any neutral objective you want to take a fight at.
For sure. Once they have the right items that they're really confident they're going to be able to win a fight, I feel like 3 minutes from now, since they're also already taking control of the jungle and they're moving Jace bot lane to get even more pressure, they're just going to continue to stack these small advantages.
You can see in the Coinbase gold grind just how far ahead Dorman's been able to get. 700 gold from those kills, but a lot more from the minions and from those tower plates. And now with that first turret complete, Rift Herald is on the map, and I feel like where T1 want to form the next battle lines as Jojo goes forward, crashes down, does get a good two-man stun. Dragon's Rage kick lands a double knockup, but there's no one here to follow up really for Furia. Tatu jumps back in, Pillar comes out, Unstoppable Onslaught onto the backline, but the rest of Furia just can't get into the fight. Guigo is done for, so deep in. Furia have to retreat as T1 take 2 more.
Another bunch of turret gold will go over to Doran after the fight as well, clearing that mid turret. And then the Rift Herald, all the advantages going in the favor of T1 after a really nice fight. The little things that T1 does in team fights is always so on point. I really do think team fighting is amongst all the other things they're good at, the true strength of T1's game.
Yeah, agreed. We'll have another look at it. It's Jojo just getting a little bit caught out. The willingness of Kerio and Ona just to immediately go in for the engage as well.
Absolutely. And once Jojo's down, it's probably time to retreat, but then Tatu does get a good amount of damage down. And then, honestly, there's a decent angle onto Faker here. They get the stun, and watch Doran, though. He just steps right in front of him, catches that Lee Sin Q, guarantees that Faker has no chance of dying. Then they can very easily finish off the Scion.
And even if that Sonic Wave hits Faker, I think he's dead before he lands, or after taking down Faker. There's too much gold on the rest of the map. Hayes at 2 items, Faker almost there. Ona has his Triforce complete, and Doran's only 6 stacks away from a Mana Mune becoming a Mura Mana. Now with the Rift Herald and 90 seconds on the next Drake, you can kind of plan out how T1 want to play these next few moments. Get the waves pushed in, use Rift Herald for pressure around the Drake. You don't even have to do that because you're so far ahead that you can just use the Rift Herald as a 5-man push through a lane as well.
I think at this point, you're kind of wondering how much T1 wants to flex or not.
Sure.
Because I think there's a very high chance they win this game whether or not they flex. And like, no, in T1, I do think that there's an element of kind of wanting to put on a show, so...
I agree with you. I think Game 2 is T1's flex game.
It's true.
It tends to be where they're like, okay, guys, time for, the pikes, time for a little bit of this fun.
They're doing Syndra, though, in Game 1. First Syndra of the tournament for Pays.
T1 flex very often, let's be honest.
They do.
As they are currently flexing a 5,000 gold lead over the CBLOL representatives, and Furia very much on the back foot. They do scale to Furia. You've got 2 items on a Cassio. You've got a Ryze who is building up towards that Seraph's Embrace, but in terms of physical damage, we have none. The Eclipse for the Lee Sin, kind of all you've got.
I mean, I saw TL won against KC with a comp kind of similar to this. Like, to me, if you're running a mage bot lane, I don't think it works well with tank top.
Agreed.
I think you need to play just a more finicky composition, like the thing that T1 has here, where you have that Jace to really pump physical damage in the top lane.
I think you can also AD mid if you're going to tank top, right? If you grab a Yone or you bring out the Tristana mid or something, then I think that's a possibility. But then you only have 2 damage sources, or 2 big damage sources, as opposed to the 3 that you do really like. Furia are not going to contest the Dragon, which means we don't have to see that Rift Herald play for the pressure in any of the lanes. T1 will just secure it. Their first Dragon of the game. A long way before we see the Soul, and I doubt we'll get to that point of the game if we continue on this trajectory.
Yeah, I think it would be a massive accomplishment by Furia if they make T1 get the Soul to be.
Yeah, agreed.
So, I mean, at this stage of the game, if you're Furia, all you're really trying to do is make the game hard. Because if we flipped the nameplates, we would not be confident that Furia would be able to close out this game. We're very confident because it's T1, but like we've seen time and time again at this MSI that 5,000 gold lead is not a guaranteed win. With the way bounties have been this season, you can see Pays an additional 481 gold. That's like an 800 gold kill. I'm actually a little surprised that objective bounties aren't on. That's probably because of the value the system gives to Drakes and the fact that Furia has 2 Drakes already. But one good fight, a good pick with a numbers advantage, could bring them back in this game. So Furia needs to remain vigilant and look for their opportunities.
Yeah, they'll be searching for them, and they have the tools at their disposal to do it. A good Lee Sin kick into a Magnet Storm. You've got Petrifying Gaze there. You have flank possibilities with the Realm Warp as well. So there are still ways for Furia to get back into the game. They are becoming increasingly rarer, I would say. And T1, as you say, a team that have shown us consistently at international level that they can close out leads from this sort of position.
Yep.
At least against, I mean, even against all levels of teams. To be honest, there's a reason they're 3-time back-to-back world champions.
They have the greatest shot caller in the history of League of Legends in Faker, the greatest support in the history of League of Legends, who's on an engaged champion. You know, they have the tools.
They do. They do have the tools.
One would say.
It's very true. They're not looking for a wrench or for a hammer, right? They're like, oh, man, I have the 5/8 socket wrench ready to go for this situation, you know? So the Realm Warp comes in from Tuts, and Keria and Faker force him away. Rifthold has been channeled as we see a good kick back onto Doran. Decimating Smash not going to connect with an Knock-Up at least. Nona is coming in from the side, and now with the pillar, Doran able to walk away. Pays charging in. The Herald gets rid of the Decimating Smash. Tatu down to half HP. Guigo the same as he flashes away. The Unleashed Power won't be enough to kill him off. Tuts still looking for more as Ona almost eats an overload. T1 forced to be slightly more on the back foot than they expected with Doran getting caught out first, but can still step forward as Furia have backed away slightly.
Yeah, 3 ultimates used on both sides, flashes of both top laners, and nobody dies. Anytime you can trade 50-50 like that as a team that's down 6,000 gold, you're going to take it. So I like the look that they got onto Doran there. Unfortunate for Fury that they couldn't quite get enough damage to finish him off.
It's a bit of a struggle for them to find that damage. Still only the Eclipse completed on Tatu after he had that 4-1 start.
Jeez.
Has yet been able to really impact the map any
Isn't
more.
that crazy? It was like he was the first one in the game to get his legendary item. And
They're
now
not
Pays
called
is,
legendary items anymore, are they? Are they still called legendary?
It was mythic.
Yeah, oh,
before,
it was
so I
mythic.
think
You're
it's
right. Yeah, maybe
legendary.
they're still legendary items. Oh, Owners just steals away red, by the way. Anyway, sorry, that was pedantic for me.
Is it
rather.
legendary?
It might be legendary.
It must be legendary.
He was the first to complete an item.
Yeah.
Yeah?
A major item.
A major item,
Which
sure.
I think is termed, if I'm wrong, I'm going to get ripped apart here. So I hope Chad is spamming the correct name for this, as they're going for Keria, actually.
Yeah, but Keria sidestep's good enough just to walk away from this. Not much for Furia to play around as the Shockwave goes down. Faker trying to chase out Tuts. Good flash and kick back onto Pays, and with the Fangs coming in, Pays will fall. Tadu trying to survive, but Keria and Ona take him out. A 1-for-1 exchange. Guigo does use this teleport to join the fight a little bit too late.
That was the biggest shutdown in the entire game, though, so they do get a large chunk of gold over themselves, and the map is just going to reset after that one. We did mention Syndra's lower mobility. You're able to punish it a little bit right there.
You are right there. They're still called legendary items.
Yes, but it's also a very uncommon thing for casters to say, especially in Europe.
That's why I was confused.
Yeah, you just call them like big purchases.
Just the first major item.
Yeah, okay.
Right? So we see, so great play. Sonic Wave, Resonating Strike, back, gets the kick onto Pays, and then there's not much Pays can do in that situation with the Miasma already down.
Yeah, really nice alley-oop right there into the Casio. You can still see that they need a bigger play than that, as he ended up trading his life back. And you know, he's got his second legendary item completed right now in the Centered Sky. He'd love to have that before 22 minutes with the pace that he was on, considering Pays has 3 already with the Crypt Bloom completed.
Yeah, one of the benefits that Pays gets is the fact that there are always minions in his wave. Whereas for Tatu, there are rarely camps in his jungle at the moment. They've been stolen away a lot by Ona and by the rest of T1. He's done a good job keeping up with Ona, but Ona on the Trundle actually doesn't need that 3rd, 4th item as much as the Lee Sin would like it, as Jojo does find a little bit of a flank here. Ona's going to spot him out with the Oracle's Alteration. Shattering Strike looking for the stun. Jojo beginning to walk away, but Guigo and Tatu are here. Decimating Smash dodged by Ona. Sonic Wave from Tatu. This is just for the disengage. Goes back in, looks for the safeguard kick, but it's pulled out with the Shockwave. Ayu from the side. Tuts looking for the Realm Warp as well, as Ona maybe has gone a little bit too deep. Rune Prison on Ona. Decimating Smash there for the follow-up. Ona locked up in the midst of Furia, but he just walks out. This Panther has no teeth. Ona able to walk out with a well-timed subjugate.
And they're just buying time. Doran this entire time is pushing bot lane and lining his wallet with even more gold.
I thought he was done for. I thought he was dead, but the subjugate, the Spirit Visage, so much healing.
Right before this fight, I was looking to see if anyone on the side of Furia had any type of healing reduction, because if the Trundle with the Spirit Visage is able to ult the Scion, he's nearly unkillable. And that was actually what happened. It was 4, maybe 5 members of Furia wailing on him, and they still couldn't kill him through the healing from that Scion subjugate he had. So that really hurts Furia, because it's a good look to try and get that kill, but they just didn't have the tools to take down the Trundle.
Proactivity, 10 out of 10. DPS, not enough out of 10.
Yeah.
It wasn't 0 out of 10. There was some DPS there.
Damages per second, especially pre-mitigation damage per second was really high.
Really high.
Yeah.
Sadly, mitigation exists, as does healing for Owner. For Furia, I like it. You've got to try and make the plays. We've talked about the vanishingly rare opportunities for them to get back into this game, and they saw the window. They jumped through it. They landed safely, but without the prize that they were looking for, as Keria goes for the flash onto Toots here. Owner there as well with a shockwave across the wall. Toots is going to flash the wall, but the ignite enough to kill him. Alongside that subjugate, and now Tatu, Jojo, and IU are on the run. I think T1 will just back away for their prize in the Baron. It's 25 minutes in, a little bit late for them to start this.
It is. They're thinking about T1 Baron. This is probably the lowest Baron damage I've seen from a T1 comp like this century.
True.
It's actually incredibly slow, which is one of the reasons they're just looking for pick after pick right here. Cinder, Orianna, Trundle, Jace. Very slow Baron killers, so they're just going to take that kill onto Rise, redeploy on the map, and continue to stack those small gold advantages.
Importantly, didn't kill the enemy jungler either, and so Sonic Wave Resonating Strike into a smite is a lot of damage.
But has that ever stopped a T1 Baron before? Like, ooh, they might steal it. Like, Owner doesn't care. He doesn't see enemy junglers.
That is very true. I will say, I think there was an expectation around T1 Barons a couple of years ago that they were a little bit more flippy than they are now. I think they've worked really hard on their Barons, and I think they're a lot more controlled into when they take them, which is why we see, as you very well mentioned, them not just going to force it. They're like, we have low DPS, the jungler's up, we're not going to go for it. I think as a team, their Baron setups tend to be pretty good, and with a 9,000 gold lead, you have the luxury of making a few mistakes. You can be a little bit lax, but they're still going through the numbers. They're still doing their due diligence here.
Yeah, I mean, they're the best team around Baron in the entire world.
Oh, shockwave onto Tatu. There's the pillar. He has to flash.
Interrupts him out of his safeguard with the Trundle pillar. Really awesome. And now
there's vision.
They're
the owner doesn't
the
spot.
Baron again.
Okay, Tatu is still around. Now they spot the vision.
Okay.
Owner's going to continue clubbing that Baron as quickly as he can. 12,000 on it. Tatu low. About 800 HP for him to play with here. Doran trying to keep Jojo from poking his nose into the pit. Tuts is coming from a topside flank, whereas Guigo is coming from the bottom side. A pinch of a movement, a possibility here, but Guigo has been turned on. Subjugate coming out from Owner. Guigo's just going to back away. They know that Sion not as tanky as they want. Good stop overall from Furia, and now Doran, he's on the wrong side of dodge. The charge comes in from Guigo. Doran has to flash. Another summoner burnt by Furia.
Really nice delay there by Furia, specifically Trundle being able to eat the subjugate and not die with the amount of CC that T1 has is pretty impressive.
Not burn summoners either. He just walked out. They didn't need to flash. It was well done all round. Still a 9,000 gold lead for T1. They are still massively in the lead.
I'm giving away a lot of confidence for a team that's down 9,000 gold. You know, maybe there's a little bit of like, maybe T1 won't get a sweep this time.
Okay.
I think they're gonna probably get another sweep, but it's still T1, so it's always a good time.
It is, it is. And for Furia as well, I think they are showing us some of those signs that it's why coming into this tournament they were bigged up in the way they were, right? They know when to find these picks. They know when to back away from a play. They understand, hey, we can take this fight a little bit slower because as soon as the subjugate's used, we do need to get out, and we'll position in a way that allows us to get our tank out. They do still make mistakes, obviously, and they made quite a few this game, but they don't go down without a fight.
They really don't. They're doing what they need to do. They're making this game hard for T1 and hoping that they can catch T1 in a mistake. But this could be the Furia mistake.
Tatu the one caught, Dragon's Rage kick out.
Nicely done.
Yeah, no shockwave, no hexagon made him left. Shadowing Strike from Jojo. He'll look just to dash out with the crash down if he needs that shield. That's 2 ultimates down for 1.
Yeah, doesn't panic in that situation, knows he has to kick the Camille away so that he can escape, does that. They're getting pushed in the bottom lane as well with TP up, so they're keeping what they need to keep on this map.
That's some pays damage though. 3 items on IU.
Yeah.
On the Cassia. Will heal up through those Twin Fangs as well if he's allowed time to use them in a fight, but often snakes are one-bite wonders, and I wonder if IU might be the same if T1 decide that he should be deceased.
Yeah, a lot of small individual gold advantages across the board. There's the big one up top with Thorin, 3.3 thousand. Faker only up about 700, so the Rise, if he can get to that actualizer, might have a little bit of power in the team fights, and interesting that they're the ones teleporting into the Baron.
Faker has no TP, and he showed on the bot wave, so I think Fury are just saying, hey, we'll take a 4v5 if we have to.
We're gonna try.
They have great Baron damage.
They do.
Jojo looking for the flank. Vision control for Furia. Faker's already on his way towards that mid lane tier 2, so he's almost there. Shadowing Strike onto Owner. Good accelerated block, shock blast. Doran hits Tatu, and I think because of that, Furia will realize that a sneaky Baron play might not be on, at least for the moment.
Yeah, probably best that they didn't even start it. Didn't need to necessarily draw T1 in a little bit, but T1 doesn't overcommit anywhere, and now T1 has priority on the mid wave, so Doran's going to probably grab that Crystalline Overgrowth.
Oh, doesn't even step for it.
Want to step for it?
A little bit fearful of Guigo. Doran doesn't have flash. Perhaps was wondering, you know, an unstoppable onslaught into a safeguard Dragon's Rage would put him in the back of the enemy team. Not where you want to be. Drake is up. It will be T1's third. Ocean Soul on the horizon now. The LCK number 2 seed as Jojo steps forward. The heal comes out, but look at the damage from T1. Shockwave and unleashed power enough to dismount the Rel.
Woo! You can see Cinder also fully ascended right now. Those 120 stacks, so full power on Pays. He's probably going Death Cap next to make that even more lethal. Third dragon completed for T1, and you know, we did mention when they were on 0 dragons that it would actually be impressive if Fury is able to make it to 10. I do understand that that seems like crazy cope.
Yeah.
Which it is, but it's what we've got left. Like,
exactly.
There's a chance, and I'm a little early on this story, but I'm kind of excited about it. If T1, since they have immediately gone to the lower bracket, does what many would expect them to do, they will have beaten, and currently all in 3-0, Team Liquid twice, KC once. They would then beat Furia. They then play G2. And then if they win that, they play the winner of Team Secret Wells versus Lion, which if, you know, NA does us proud, would be Lion, as I has to flash away.
Flashes away from the
But that would essentially mean they would get to beat the number 1 and 2 seeds from NA and EU and the number 1 seed from the CBLOL in the same tournament. It's not good.
No, it's not good for us. Very good for T1 and their fans. Unstoppable onto Doran, who does have his flashback and will utilize it to get away. Sonic Wave does hit Doran as he walks away, but Tatu not in range to follow up on it. So as well, are you having to flash earlier on while you were in your middle of your very depressing story to listen to, isn't it, you fan dude?
T1 is the greatest team of all time, though. There's no shame in this.
They really are. Owner steps forward. Flash shockwave from Owner. The Magnet Storm catches him out for now. Tatu tries to dodge away and will manage to survive to fight another day. All of Furia get out of the flash shockwave combination.
Wow, nobody dies, but it does not stop this T1 push. With the grubs, everyone on Fury has to run back to base, so T1 is able to completely break open the base.
Getting that inhibitor down is huge for them, gives them that mid lane prior always, and allows them now to look towards that Baron. If that is their key objective. TP coming behind. Guigo. Unstoppable onslaught available. Tatu forced to dash away with the safeguard. Jojo being kept at bay by Pays, and Guigo's in the middle of 4 right now. Needs the rest of his team really to be able to catch up. Carrier dives in with a Hexagon to made him. Guigo down to half HP. Toots getting forced away by the enemy support, and Owner's there to help out his bot lane. Faker kills Guigo, and in the end, it was try and try again for Furia, but T1 were having none of it.
The team fight spacing there for T1 was very nice as Pays just easily escapes the clutches of Jojo.
If they had a little bit more damage, it would be enough, as Carrier does fall. Faker's going to TP in. It's all on Tatu and Ayu to try and defend, but I think that hope has long since passed. A 12,000 gold lead. T1 don't even need the Baron to close it out. Tatu comes out, hits the Sonic Wave onto Faker. Ayu gets locked against the pillar, and a good double dodge of the Petrifying Gaze. Still some damage coming out from Ayu, but Owner very happy to tank it up. T1 looking for the kills on the fountain. They'll take Tatu, and for dessert, they'll take the Nexus. 1-0 T1.
Not very surprising that T1's able to take down game 1. A little surprising, I think, that Furia was able to make it so difficult for them, but analysts, what do you think?
Well, I think I saw a little bit of T1 playing with their food, perhaps? A little bit, because the gold lead was big, and I know that Furia put up a little bit of a fight. But yeah, Sovereign, right? Like, what can you say?
I think Tatu tried really hard on the lead in, made some great plays, and that was good to see, but it felt like team-wide, T1 had control for pretty much all the game.
It was
tough.
It was a
It was
slaughter.
tough. It was
Playing
tough.
with your food. I think also just being careful, dotting your I's, crossing your T's, taking their time. Could it have been faster? Maybe, but maybe they just really felt like they didn't want to risk anything.
It's MSI after all. But I want to talk about the mages in the bot lane. I want to show of hands who loves them, who loves them.
Oh,
Nice.
wow.
I'm not sure because, we played HLE and whatever. But, so tell me, why do you love it? And tell me when it works, when it doesn't work, using examples from this game.
So I'll say, I remember when this happened in 2018.
Yeah?
And I loved it. Some of my favorite AD carry players, actually Songyun on Freak of Freaks. I loved him because he played like Rise and all this other stuff. But so many AD carries were like, no, I don't want to play Mage's bot. But I think they're really, really strong. And I also think, especially with itemization, with how frequently we see AD pretty much perma in the jungle, it's so, so strong right now.
I think my concern for this game, both teams had Mage's bot, but I think it was very different because on the side of T1, you have that AD carry, sort of not AD carry like a marksman, but a carry threat who does AD damage at the top side. You also have great setup with the Camille, and the lane matchup is good because you kind of keep the Cassiopeia at bay with a Syndra Stun. On the other side, though, you have a tank in the top lane. The only AD is that Lee Sin. Both Rise and Cassiopeia don't build their magic pen until 4th item. You're into a Trundle who built Spirit Visage early and then drains the Scion stats. It felt so hard to cut through Owner as a result. And also both your mages are sort of shorter range and are dealing with Trundle Pillar, with the Syndra Stun, with the Shockwave. It felt even if this game was even, Fury would be on the back foot in team fights, and obviously it wasn't even.
Yeah, I think mages are incredibly strong right now. To your point, I don't think you get to undermine the fundamental rules of drafting. You still need some split damage, but on average, they're stronger on one item. Much more important point in the game. And AD carries, they'll outclass. Most of them have to wait till 4 items. And in that in-between time, they're doing absolutely nothing. So quite frankly, while not all of the mages I'm excited about, even the Cassio I'm a little skeptical about, the Seraphine didn't look good. The Ziggs, the Mel, the Syndra, even the Vel'Koz we saw from Viper, all look like fantastic options.
I also think it's easier to slot in defensive items for mages. In AD carry, you want your 4-core crit. With a mage, you can grab a Zhonya's 3rd item if you really need it.
Yeah. I have one small stat. That has nothing to do with Mage's bot, but it does have to do with the mage.
Okay.
Faker's Orianna.
Yes.
Second most played. He's played it 122 times.
Wow.
He's 89 and 33 on it, 73% win rate going into this game. So he's now 90 and 33 on it.
Wow.
Okay.
I added up every single most played champion of all of Furia. It's at 187.
That's one champion?
The most played champion that even comes close is JoJo because he's been playing for longer, 55 on the Rakan.
Oh.
But that's just how many games this man has on this champion. You do not give him this champion.
We already knew it was one-sided. Don't add the numbers in Emily. That's ruthless. That's ruthless.
Even worse. But they're like, we want to see him at his best because then if we beat him, we've beaten him at his best, right? That's how it works.
Yeah.
At least it's fearless.
Don't give
So at
Faker
least they get value. It's now gone for
They're
the series.
playing the long card.
That is very true. One thing on the mage's bot lane.
Yes.
Because a lot of people are going to ask, why don't we see them more? And this is a great opportunity to remind the world, the reason we don't see more interesting things in bot lane is because AD carries are pound for pound the biggest crybabies on the face of the planet.
Yes.
Just calling me
2018, legendary EU AD carry Reckless. When it was time to play mages, did he rise to the challenge? Yes, right off of the playing roster and right back onto the bench. Literally benched himself. And Pays, this is why I love Pays, has been so proactive in playing mages in solo queue, even if we didn't see them on stage. AD carries need to shut up and play what's good. Riot has gift wrapped a win for you, and you're saying no because they didn't go, woo, here comes the airplane, before they did it.
All right. Moving on from the
No, I don't want to move on. Does anybody else have something to say about ADCs?
I mean,
I have a lot. I don't think we have time.
I'm an ADC main, and I started by playing LeBlanc bot lane with
Good.
my friend Leona.
I also don't think people should play LeBlanc bot lane, but I respect that you were innovative.
It was season 2. She was OP, and one of my close friends was a Leona main. Shout out to Morgan if she's listening.
Shout out Morgan.
Tatu. I did appreciate, we saw those first clips here. I did appreciate the fact that he was trying, right? He was trying to get IU ahead. I did like some of their early moves around the bot lane, but yeah, this was just, look at that Jace damage. I know some of it is just coming from consistently sustained damage in teamfights, but yeah.
And we've seen a lot of times, I mean, in the LCK, where Scion goes up against a Jace, just weathers the storm, is more useful in team fights. or can just outscale, or sometimes even solo kill the Jace. But I think T1 did a good job picking up the Trundle to make Sound's life, Guigo's life uncomfortable, and also getting Doran to the point where he can just fire these shock blasts out on repeat and do so much damage.
And when it comes to drafting, it was one of the points that we were a little worried, not worried really, but we saw some tendencies in the BLG series that didn't land that well, so this was a good showing.
Much better Trundle angle.
Yeah.
Kind of the picture perfect. They lock Sion, you get Trundle. I will say, I think no matter what happens in this series, no matter how good the drafts look from T1, we're going to come back to this question next time they play one of the favorites at this tournament. This does not absolve the sins. This does not leave those question marks answered, but it is good that we did see some much more stable drafting from them today.
So when they play G2?
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Yeah, sure. Whatever. Anyways, yeah, for T1 versus Furia, there we see the selection for match 2 as well, for game 2 as well. Any adaptations you can see from the Furia side, Emily?
I mean, it's tough, right? Yeah. It's just really, really tough. I was going to say one interesting thing is how, if teams want to look at it, T1 are one of the few teams that actually prioritize blue side. And because of those Barons, right, it gives you that kind of Baron control. So I'm not surprised to see that they picked blue side. And sometimes I see teams, if they think they're in a deficit, go for counter pick. So maybe Furia just want to get first pick instead of finding something to counter what T1 has.
Sounds logical to me. Let's see if the Panther can roar a little louder when we come back.
Tatu goes in. Jojo here as well. TP from Guigo as well as Carrier looks great. The Shockwave's going to land on 2 though. And you just can't give Faker this Orianna. The Shockwave pulls them back and pays. Secures the second. Guigo now in for a world of hurt. Tatu goes in with the Dragon's Edge kick. Knocks Carrier back, who flashes the wall. Tatu's trying to flash the chase. Owner there to try and protect his support, but he can't do it. And now Owner's on the wrong side of the wall, and those bangs are sinking in. Off HP, Toots getting forced away by the enemy support, and Owner's there to help out his bot lane.
Tired of the off-season blues once Worlds is over? Fear not, because League of Legends is coming to the very first Esports Nations Cup, where players split from their clubs and compete for national pride. Will China test every limit imaginable? Will South Korea turn every game into a macro masterclass? Will EU and NA actually play in the correct lanes? The final event of the year is not to be missed. Esports Nations Cup 2026. See you in Riyadh.